Hi folks, welcome to my video on cleaning and rejuvenating a natural stone patio. So you can imagine that area there is probably what all this initially looked like. This has been in a later edition, as this bit here. And we're just trying to do make a big effort here to bring it back to its original form of glory. As you can see from these pictures, it's not been touched for years. There's weeds growing up, there's algae, lichen, all sorts of stuff on the surface. So we're gonna need to blast out the weeds from between the pavers, clean the surface with either a powerful jet washer or some chemical, repoint and then seal. Right guys, so this is all the stuff you're gonna need. So we've got a bucket to mix up your mortar in. And then moving around, we've got the this is a K5 compact, pretty powerful, but the more powerful a pressure washer you can get, the better, because this didn't get off all of the lichen and algae and mold and everything. That is a 2.1 kilowatt 145 bar model, so ideally more powerful than that. Then moving around, we've got the jointing compound resin or sand and cement, use either or. Dustpan and brush, stiff broom at the back there. That Patio Magic is a biodegradable maintenance cleaner that you use once the whole job's done. There's obviously other brands that do the same thing. Then you've got your sodium hyperchlorite. Again, this is just one brand. That's to remove all your lichen and algae and stuff. Pressure sprayer, minimum 5 litres, because these are 5 litres. That one's a 7 litre. Patio seal is a waterproofer. So again, different brands out there. Then you've got your tools. I couldn't find my gauging trowel, so I just used a regular garden trowel, wire brush, a little pointing tool, not sure what they're called, garden hose, or you could use a regular pointing tool, tuck point trowel. Couldn't find my weed hook, so anything really that's going to dig down and get the weeds out. Then you've got your needle nose pliers and water pump pliers, which help to pull the most stubborn weeds out. Drill and a mixer just makes life a lot easier in the bucket. PPE, ear defenders, glasses, because the dirt just gets sprayed everywhere, goes up in your eyes. Respirator, definitely wellies, because your feet get soaked, and a cable reel. And I believe that, and a garden hose to supply water. So that is, I think, everything. I've already done most of the jet washing here, as you can see, but it hasn't got rid of a lot of this black stuff. So what you need to do is put some chemical cleaner on there first. That will strip away all the black mold. Just wanted to show you the product that I bought for this, cleaning black spots. It's like lichen, algae, all those sorts of things, but they are bloody hard to remove, as you can see with the jet washing. So this is the ultimate black spot destroyer by ProClean. When you look into it, I've done a little bit of research now. There's quite a few products out there on the market, but as I'm about to show you in this picture, it is night and day. Absolutely night and day. Works like a dream. This stuff, they're all the same. Sodium hyperchlorite. Right there, they're all got sodium hyperchlorite in them, but I think that other one had been sitting in the shed for many years. This is brand new stuff. It's supposed to cover 50 square meters. I've got about 100 square meters here, so I've got 2 of them. And yeah, I've been spraying it. I'm not gonna lie, my videos are more of an adventure than an instructional video, because I kind of like making up as I go along. I've got to be honest, I've not, I know how to point, but I've not done a big job like this before, like 100 square meters of paving that's not been touched for years, so kind of am learning as I go. Didn't have the equipment. I thought, oh, I'll just use this little sprayer, takes ages, so then I had to pop down the shop and upgrade, and this thing is a game changer. So I'm just going to quickly show you. We'll be spraying this on. So it's not perfect, but it's easier. Depends how much you want to take off. I had to hand dig out all the weeds with a weed hook, because this Jetwash, even though it's brand new, K5 compact, didn't have the oomph. Maybe a petrol one would have done, or a super powerful electric one, but couldn't do it. So I had to hand dig out all the major weeds and then go around with the jet washer afterwards. Blast out all the soil. I mean, it makes such a mess. It takes ages because it just throws the dirt everywhere every time you hit one of these gaps, and you have to basically move it all the way down. So I've sort of pushed it over there and pushed it over here with the jet washer. You just sort of, pushing it along, basically pushing the dirt downhill. So once you've done that, you need to point. So if we go over here, you can see what I've attempted to do already, and it actually looks fine. I used the resin product, one of those resin products. I used the Seeker Fast Fix. Brilliant stuff because it can work in the wet. You just brush it in and then you use your pointing trowel to point it down. But the problem is, that's fine if you've got all new joints to deal with, but because we're patching in here, you'll see the colour difference. I mean, first of all, it doesn't match what's on the box for a start, which I'm going to grab in a second, but you can see here the original pointing. So much, and it's wet now, but it's really light grey. I'm just going to bring up a picture now. You can see what it's like when it's dry. And it's just going to stick out like a sore thumb. Not only that, but they don't say in the instructions what to do when you've got stuff on the surface. So they say brush it in. So it's all over the surface. I tried to brush off as much as I could. I thought, oh, it'll dry out and then you'll be able to brush it off, but this stuff sticks like glue to the surface. So now I have to jet wash it off, or they recommend boiling water on to soften it up, and then you can scrub it off. But if they put that in the instructions, I would have been a bit more careful. I've ended up with all this resin mix on the surface, and it's stuck like glue, as I said. So according to Seeker, boiling water, I guess to let it soak in. Oh yeah, hey, look at that. Luckily I haven't got too much to do, but it's nice to see something actually working for once. Cool, that must soften the glue that's in there, the resin. Alright, let's crack on with that. I've looked online. You've got Point Fix, other brands as well of resin pointing mix, and none of them do a light grey for some strange reason. It's all this sort of sandy buff, dark, black, solid grey, solid dark grey. I just have not been able to find the colour, so I'm going to have to go back to the old traditional sand and cement. Going to use sharp sand, because that's what originally, you can tell it's sharp sand, it's got these little tiny stones in it. But we've got to do it on a dry day, so that's not going to be today. So I've got the tub of Seeker Fast Fix jointing compound, and you can see my problem. If you look at the colour there on the box, that colour there, versus what it actually comes out like, there's just no comparison. If it actually been that colour, I might have been alright, but as you can see, very, very different from the original. So that's not going to be any good to me, and as I say, I can't find another product, so I'm going to end up going with traditional sand and cement, try and get the right mix. So we've got a bag of sharp grit sand, bag of cement, four of those to one of those, mixed it all up. So it's all nice and even colour, and then just sprinkle the tiniest bit of water in there because it was a little bit dry. You want to be able to, it should clump together like that. Imagine it was a wet bit of sand, it should do that. Right, now we're going to put it into the joints. Right, so I've got my pointing trowel and I've got my gauging trowel, or what I'm using as a gauging trowel. So we've got to make sure this is dry because this stuff stains like nobody's business if it gets on the surface of here, and it's going to look awful. So just going to drop that in there. This is what I was doing with the other product. So you can brush it off the surface afterwards. That's why you want to keep it nice and dry. It should be fine. But you can be relatively quick about it. Just make sure you push it down into the gap completely. Level it off with the lower of the two slabs. I know we've got a lot to do, but if you can work pretty quickly, shouldn't take too long. So get it nice and smooth, and packed in. Excuse the cable, I'm trying to charge my phone here. Okay, so once you've got that into the joint, you're then just gonna finish it off with a bit of garden hose or something similar. And you're going to brush any excess into the middle here. Brush diagonally. It's like when you're grouting, brush diagonally, otherwise you end up pulling out more of the material. You can actually see here, if you look very closely, you can see on the edge here that might well stain the edge. So I've let it spill over a little bit, but you shouldn't really notice it overall. Once that dries, I mean, you can actually see already, I think I'm going to stick with the 4:1 because you see here where it's dried, it's actually dried really light grey. I'm sure that's what was probably used before, it's kind of standard. So yeah, we're going to carry on jointing all the patio that needs it, and then we'll get back to clean the slabs. So this area's been done, it's been jointed as well with the bit of garden pipe. Now just going to use the soft bristled broom and just brush all the dried dust off, because if it rains that's going to stain the surface, so we're going to brush all that off. That's what we're going to do now. Just been having a little think as I've been going along, a couple of little tips. This trowel has been a godsend over the years. It's 6mm, so it's super narrow. You can get obviously all different sizes, but it's been great for getting in, you know, tiny little gaps and things, especially when we're doing brickwork as well. So yeah, get yourself one of them. The sand has been, it's quite difficult to work with because it's sharp sand. It's got quite a lot of fairly big stones in, and when you point it, it can often drag one of the stones out and make a hole. So you can use other sands. I mean, plastering sand is probably ideal because that's slightly finer but still got that sort of gritty look. Some people don't like the super smooth look of building sand, so that's another option. And also, one final thing is my technique was not very good before. I was using the end of the pipe. It's been ages since I've done this. You should actually use the curve of the pipe and drag it all the way along in one motion. So those are my tips. Okay, so the final step, everything's been pointed, cleaned, has dried out, and now this stuff, which should be put on a dry surface, is the patio sealer. So this one I've gone for Pro Clean patio seal, 5 litres, covers about 50 metres squared, and again put it in the pressure sprayer. Make sure I washed it out before of the other stuff. Put it in the pressure sprayer and just spraying everything super quick, and then you give that 24 hours to dry, and then you're good. And from then onwards you can just do a little bit of jet washing and use, as I said, that maintenance stuff, the biodegradable maintenance stuff. So I'm just giving this a quick spray, and that's it. Actually a biodegradable product, and this should keep off the mold and moss and algae, because I don't like using chemicals, strong chemicals, to kill off stuff, because it's probably going to damage wildlife. But going forward, once we've actually got it back to this sort of state, then we can use this thing or something similar. There's quite a few different products out there, and you just keep spraying it on. You don't do any other maintenance, apparently. We'll see how it goes. Right, so your next question is going to be, how much of this stuff do I need? So for the jointing compound, in either case it depends on the size of your slabs, the size of your joints, and whether you're patching in or whether you're doing completely fresh. So a 15 kilo tub, which this is, can do up to 21 square meters, based on a regular 10 mil wide joint that's 20 mil deep, and you're doing like a brand new set of paving, so you've got to fill every single joint, whereas here I was just patching in. And all I can tell you is that I did 12 meters squared with half of that tub, so I've got half left over. So I did 7.5 kilos, did 12 meters squared. So, but a lot of my joints were a lot deeper than 20 mil, so you have to sort of guess really at it. So for mortar it's the same deal. It just depends on the size of the slab and the size of the joints, and whether you're doing a fresh or patching in. All I can tell you is these slabs, most of them are about 550 by 700 mil, and I use 2 bags of sand and half a bag of cement to cover approximately 80-90 meters squared of those sorts of slabs. Obviously the smaller slabs you have, the more joints there are and the more material you're going to use. And again, like here you've got like massive, some of these are absolutely massive. This is like 35 mil wide, and then others are super narrow, so take from that what you will. Here's the final article, looking pretty much as good as the day it was first laid. Client's very happy. Good luck with your project, guys. Thanks for watching.